2, 1. And lastly, on Beat Off Script, we've got our last album of the day, our Spotlight album, which is a combo album with SUMAC and Moor Mother with the film. Which, if you don't know who SUMAC and Moor Mother are, that's totally fair because. Yep.
I didn't.
Honestly, neither did I going into this, and I don't know, unless Mel had something. I know of Moor Mother. Moor Mother's done some work, like writing on other hip-hop artists and stuff like that, kind of tracks before. But we'll go into a little bit of detail as to who they are. SUMAC is an American-Canadian metal supergroup formed of the Baptists, Nick Yakishin, Russian Circle's Brian Cook, and Mammothers' Aaron Turner. If you don't know who those bands are as well, you're just not part of the metal scene, and that's, again, completely understandable. Yeah. Either way, they're a post-metal, almost bordering on sludge metal band that when Turner had turned around and said that I wanted to do some of my more, like, my heaviest stuff, he asked around the industry and ended up coming up with Yakishin, and they performed on stage as SUMAC the first time opening for a show in Vancouver, which, funny enough, they were opening for Death Heaven, turns out.
Oh. No way.
Which we covered last episode. Neat. So it's the metal sphere we've been touching in. We're keeping up with all of them here now. So the world is smaller than we think it is. We just didn't know it existed in that sphere. So
after we reviewed Death Heaven, because I posted our review, and Rory pointed out that I've seen Death Heaven live. They opened for Coheed once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've seen them live, and I didn't even recall it.
That's amazing.
I didn't like them live either, though. But yeah, continue.
But either way, in 2015, they pressed their debut 6-track album, which they got Cook on as their session bassist, and they ended up kind of joining on as a full member of the band. They've gone on to release 5 albums total, but a quick look at their discography on any streaming service, you'll see that they really love to like post like 2-track LPs kind of all over the place. Like they post a lot of just, we're in the space, we're jamming right now, this is something we want to press, and they'll press it. So there's a lot of work out there, even though they've only have like 5 actual studio albums. There's a ton of work for SUMAC out there, and I've seen SUMAC in spheres of other people's work as well. I know that they've had a lot of influence on a couple of other things kind of kicking around in those spheres. Their music is intense. It's physical. It's got these really evolving song structures, but really primal sonic sounds kind of going through it. This is technically not a studio album by them, though. This is actually made in part with, obviously, Moor Mother, who's also under the same Thrill Jockey label. So, easy way for them to be able to meet up. Now, who's Moor Mother? Moor Mother is an American poet, musician, and activist who's been around since 2012. They're very experimental and really mix their poetry into, like, hip-hop, free jazz with hyper-political messaging. It is on the nose, it is angry, it is... There's always going to be a lot to deconstruct with everything that involves Moor Mother. She really pushes on boundaries musically while also pushing on them thematically, talking a lot about black culture, oppression, memories from her childhood and public housing, all of that kind of stuff as an attempt... usually kind of has an attempt to kind of describe a future that we're heading towards, or describing a future that we can end up with if we make changes. It tends to be a lot of the way that she does her work. Yeah. The film was really designed to be kind of a raw example of taking SUMAC's very, like I mentioned, primal sound and like heavy instrumentation coupled with Moor Mother's equally primal lyricism and poetry to create this heavy thematic collaboration of both of them. And Moor Mother themselves actually kind of said like it's more than just an album, or a collection of songs. Like it's meant to be something bigger. It's meant to be an experimentation of taking the angriest of potential music and the angriest of potential words and putting them together in an art project that they put into it. But we're gonna find out a little bit more about that. This will probably be the shortest album review that we've done because of the way that we do our album reviews, where we talk about tracks for an album that is an hour long, because there's only 8 tracks on this album, but it is still an hour long, and all of them burn. It is definitely an interesting one, and I want to make sure that I let any listeners at home know. Buckle in for this one if you do end up diving into it, because there's a lot to deconstruct, and it's, like I said, it's gonna hurt. It's designed by design. It's gonna hurt. So.
Yeah.
But before we dive into scene 1, do you guys have anything that you guys want to say?
Yeah.
About the album?
Once again, the order in which we listen to these albums, we're going from this, or from Send a Prayer My Way to this, is just wow.
Yeah.
This hit me hard. It hit me immediately. Wow. Yeah. This is an album.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it. This is not. There's a lot going on.
I wrapped this up. This dropped yesterday. I wrapped up this album and immediately went to the Aviation Museum for a 70s style disco something.
What a combo.
Wow.
In case you're wondering what's the weirdest way to transition from anything to anything else, that has to be up there for me. It was a weird experience to go from this to
for sure
ABBA.
Yeah.
ABBA.
My advice is don't smoke a sativa before you jump into it, because you will have a fucking heart attack. That's all I got to start off, man.
Just heart murmurs going on all over the place.
I was like freaking the fuck
Anxiety,
out.
for sure.
So, obviously, we start off the track with scene 1. You're going to notice there's going to be some consistency in terms of how they named the tracks off of their album called The Film. This is scene 1, and I would usually like to give you a little bit of like a, here's what you expect in this clip. I'm just going to play it.
Does America love you? Does Germany love you? Does Australia love you? Does England love you? Did they love you when they censored your voice? Did they love you when you were getting terrorized and lynched? Did they love you when they took centuries to apologize for enslavement? Are we complacent? These times pain illustrated. Congress done split their head on pavements and are refusing medical treatment.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you're immediately hit by, of course, the very, very hard guitars there, the deep metal, and you're hit by the almost spoken word anger from Moor Mother here. Like it comes at you hard, comes at you fast. Yeah, this is quite the opening.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, what a way to set the stage. Hot damn.
Yeah.
There was male vocals in there that gave me Jigsaw vibes, like from the Saw franchise, where I was like, okay, now I'm freaking out a little bit already. And they just really like forced us to sit in that uncomfortable state for so long.
Yeah.
Like so long.
Yeah.
So like sonically, I was like freaking out. A little bit, like it, like really was triggering some shit out of me.
It's disconcerting. Disconcerting for sure.
oh yeah.
Which, considering the subject matter, very effective.
100%. No, absolutely. Immediately you get those heavy vocals, heavy guitar spots, and Moor Mother's rhythmic poetry, obviously, which is great. I literally wrote, I think we know what we're into this album for moving forward. Like we know what we're about to get, and it's like I said, it's gonna hurt. The very last note that I had for this track specifically was this album's gonna sting, because it's just going to. It's by design. It's supposed to hurt. You guys are supposed to think about everything that we're about to go over, and like you got to feel it. You need to feel it, and the best way to do it is not by making you get up out of your chair and dance. It's making you hurt the whole way through.
It's like, if you're not afraid yet, we're about to make you really afraid.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially if you're
100%.
high on sativa.
They've got these a couple of
It
things.
was a bad choice, Bob.
A couple of things about the actual musical stuff going on there. They have these really sludgy filters on the track to just kind of like create this dystopia, while Moor Mother is actively talking about current day events. So it starts to feel like the dystopia that they're trying to create is actually the real world right now.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool way to try to get that message across, is like, I'm going to talk about right now things that you can talk about based on what you read on the news currently, but make it hurt so you understand, like, this is what's really going on, and what's going on right now in the world is it hurts, and we got to make sure that we address it that way. The instrumentation, like, kind of slowly starts to progress into, like, a more manic kind of setting. Well, you get this blaming tone from Moor Mother the whole way through, and I love the fact that it just got more and more manic as Moor Mother continues to again kind of berate you with the things that you're doing wrong and the world is doing wrong. And again, just a really cool aesthetic is the way to build that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, very impressive.
You do get these aggressive overnotes and these super wild metal guitar riffs. I don't know if you guys caught them. If you're paying really close attention, you get these metal guitar riffs, but they're really, really quiet in the background. It's almost unhearable. Like, there's these really cool, like, wild metal riffs going on, but they're so quiet.
Yeah.
That unless you're actually, like, deconstructing it, you would miss it entirely. There's zero chance that you hear it if you're listening to it while you're driving, you would miss it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so subtle that the road noise would overtake it. So, like, give it another listen and, like, see if you can find those. That's really, really cool, like, little just kind of like an Easter egg to find in the song, where it's like these are still going on, but they wanted to keep that sludgy forefront instead. And I thought that was, again, just another really cool thing where, like, there is some good stuff going on, but, like, that's not the focus right now. You guys don't get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wild start.
It's wild. It is wild. That's all we can really.
We don't slow down.
Then track 2 is, in case you guys were wondering, is scene 2, but it does have a title, The Run. This is The Run, and trust me, you will understand why. As long as I picked it in this clip.
The pressure like earth cracked wide, earthquake breaks. Desert night, I came outlaw, sweating memories. I took off running. I took off running. Back to myself, back to the lie. Blank faces, android faces, empty souls. I was running back to the sky. Edward Munch sky screaming, I was running.
She was running.
Wild.
So this track is a 12-minute track. So
Yeah.
being mindfully prepared for it, I think, is an important thing to consider just before you get into it. But it opens up with these really tinny, like, metallic drums, like Mel was acting out there. Just
Dude.
incessant this whole time with these frequency distortions kind of all the way through. And you get this guitar that's just tremoling through the whole thing. Tremoloing? Is that I don't even know if that's a word.
It's a word now.
Tremoloing, yeah.
It's like
tremoloing.
guitar spasms, if you will.
This is what sludge metal is. This is exactly what you needed to expect from SUMAC. This is what the SUMAC has always done. This is what you need to expect. But then you get the power of Moor Mother just running.
Just running. But in a very powerful way, kind of getting her message. Maybe not getting her message across the way we would want to get a message across, but the message is getting across. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure, 100%.
I've never felt so much emotion out of a song than I have on this one specifically. Fucked with my head so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
sure being stoned probably helped you.
Dude.
The first 7 minutes of the song are a lot like that, but then there's kind of this post-metal package in the last 4 to 5 minutes of the song that I actually kind of enjoyed a lot. It's the only time that Aaron Turner actually has any singing, quote unquote, any growling, I should say, in the entire album. I'm actually a fan of Aaron Turner. I liked ISIS a lot, which he was a member of way back. back in the prehistoric times when I went to college.
Yeah.
I loved ISIS. I listened to a lot of ISIS, and I recognized the voice. I'm like, holy shit, who is that? I know that, and I realized that Aaron Turner was a former ISIS
Aaron Turner,
member.
all of the guys in SUMAC were all parts of multiple projects.
Yeah,
like
right.
there was multiple bands that they were all affiliated with. So like
Yeah.
I just picked a couple of them, but like there's a good chance if you're in the metal scene, you knew 5 or 6 other bands that I could have mentioned in all of those circumstances, and maybe like them more. So I apologize. Leave it in the comments if you feel like I should have brought up a different project from any of the individuals in SUMAC,
Right.
and we could have probably gone over those as well, and instead. But and SUMAC coming in with like this demonic voice. Just to like show like the other side of it, Moor Mother trying to preach while this demon is kind of coming through, like kind of a vibe all the way through, and then it ends up switching over to this metal guitar out of nowhere, and then we get this post rock side of SUMAC like right away with these really progressive like prog rock drum beats and this heavy foot pedal guitar. With this repeated riff, just this back and forth over 2 notes, kind of the whole way through, and then we get, like you mentioned, the metal vocals that kind of comes through. I really thought that we were going to get mostly just Moor Mother vocally on all of it, and really, truthfully, we do. It is 90% Moor Mother, and like 10% you get some SUMAC vocals on it, but like.
When they introduced it, it was so well done, though. Like, it was like,
It's cool. It is so cool, and it is... Like I said, it's important. It's with purpose. Like, everything that's happening is with purpose. And then when it outros... with just the drum.
Which is cool. Cool as hell.
That entire time, so that constant thudding... did such a good job of actually making me feel like I was being chased by something gigantic. Like I felt like I needed to be running. So cool. Yeah, so cool. And then at one point we slow down and I'm like, why are we slowing down? We need to keep running. This thing is going to chase us. We shouldn't be stopped right now. Then at one point the vocals get so mumbled it almost felt like paranormal. Guys, I went through an experience.
You sure did.
I straight up felt like I was in a horror movie on this song because like all of a sudden I had that paranormal vibe going on, and then she starts screaming, but they start distorting it, actually making her sound demonic. But now you have his guttural growl. It almost turns into like a howl at one point, and I was like, whoa, I'm losing my mind. Wild. Wow, I went on a trip. Also, the Edvard Munch call out I thought was so well done because it was literally a perfect descriptor of how I was feeling in that moment. I was like, nailed that one. Wild. Yeah. My notes are crazy. A lot of caps.
Help!
Yeah.
This track was a highlight for me. The back half of it was. I liked this more than I would say most of the album, to be honest with you.
I thought so. Yeah. I thought that was going to be the one that probably for sure brought you in. Because again, it got kind of prog rocky a little bit with the way that the drums were kind of going through and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be one that did kind of like grab you a little bit for sure. Yeah. Then we go into not scene 3. Anybody listening or watching this who thought it was going to be scene 3, guess what? You were wrong. It's called Hard Truth, in case you didn't feel like you were getting enough of that.
Right.
Through the first 2 tracks, which this is like actually kind of a short track.
Very short. Yeah.
Just, which we just had a track that was 12 minutes long. Yeah. Before that was a 7-minute long track. Now we got one that's like, I think it caps out at 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, give or take.
That sounds right.
It's almost like an intermission kind of thing.
Yeah.
It really does, and let's see what that's all about. Noise.
Yeah, just atmospheric, almost like horror movie kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
It opens into this dystopian kind of chopper beat with this heavy distortion that feeds back over. Sorry, pardon me. I should say that this Hard Truth is featuring Candice Hoyas over Candice Hoyes has a super angelic vocal that goes over top of this, like I said, like this chopper beat and this crazy distortion. It sounds like bubbling the whole time. Like it's just, it's crazy. The feedback on this track is just so cool, so dystopian, broken world sort of idea. I also recommend listen with headphones because the stereophonics were super cool because those distortions that are coming through actually switch from side to side. Like it's a really, really subtle like little spot, and I don't usually love that in music, but in this it made it feel like the real world. When I had my headphones on, made it feel like the real world was actually going through that behind me, as opposed to it being something that was playing in just my headphones. And I think again, part of that intention is that shift back and forth to simulate, like, we're talking about the real world right now.
Yeah.
This is something, like, I'm not trying to immerse you in my idea of the world. I'm trying to immerse you and make you understand the world that you're already in.
This is what's happening.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool way to do that.
Yeah, I thought she sounded so like haunting but ethereal at the same time. So it was like kind of throwing me. And there's this crazy sound effect that just sounded like nails scratching. That again just kind of like got me all uncomfy again. As if I wasn't enough.
I was gonna say you were still comfy at this point.
I came down a little bit because like the run really did me in, man.
Bob?
No additional notes on this one. Honestly, it just was very disconcerting.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot on this one other than
Fair enough. And then we get to scene 3. See, we were gonna get to scene 3 eventually. All right, everybody, we're if you're keeping up here, right? Theoretically, next would be scene 4, but will it be? Who knows?
Who knows?
Right? That's gonna be up to us to find out here in the next couple of minutes. But scene 3, I thought was a really cool track. This is kind of, if I had to approach a track, this is probably one of the ones that I would be able to approach a little bit easier. It is featuring Kyle Kidd. Let's give it a spin.
You still in the mix, kid? Think quick, kid. You know what Woes did to Men in Madness alone. 911 trying to get help on the telephone. Internet clone home. Pay-per-view, we envision a safe space where we could all feel new. Reinvent ourselves, time to manufacture fear, smoke screen hiding what we had to do to survive.
I like that breakdown there. That's fun's not the word I'm looking for, but it's fun. It's fun.
I was gonna say it's hard to say anything's fun or cool because it's just like, oh no, you're talking about full-blown inequalities, the way that the world is actually slowly just gonna grind to a halt, and we're the ones that are causing it.
Yeah.
So it feels weird to be like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
but
lyrically, I like this one a lot. I just felt like I was able to follow it better, and not that all the tracks have lyrics that are speaking to kind of current world, but I guess relatability for me. This felt, the most cogent, I suppose.
yeah, this one, like, for me, this is like a form of just hyper post rock, where there's just no noise except for the guitar, like scaling down to start, like at the early parts of the track, just scaling 3 notes down repetitively, over and over again. And it's like I said, it's post rock on crack. Like, it is an insane, just like how deconstructed they wanted to make this. And then you get these little broken bet schemes that kind of like pop in and out. Moor Mother's lyricism is super intense and like really thought-provoking, but like the breakdowns when she stops and it gets stripped away, SUMAC does just such a good job of maintaining that distraught feeling throughout the whole, like, in the meantime, while you're waiting for Moor Mother to come back and again berate us, make us feel awful about ourselves, and
punish us, mommy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved the rhyme, trapped in closets, death deposits. I thought that was pretty sick. The internet clone home, I'm assuming, was supposed to be reminiscent of E.T. Kind of threw me for a loop there. But I liked how the instrumentals were super powerful on this one. Like, I think even more so, they were very prominent, but it didn't overpower her at any point, which I appreciated.
I don't think there's anything that'll ever overpower Moor Mother.
No, absolutely not. No, that she's a force. And at the end, that outro, the way that In the Way of Our Dreams felt like it was slipping away, like our literal dreams are falling out of our grasps, I thought was such a good touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't the most powerful lyric, but I did enjoy, we don't remember whatever it means to be free, whip and nay ourselves away from our dreams. I like that.
Yeah,
it's heavy.
very heavy,
That's heavy.
Then we get to...
You're
this
not-
one is scene 4. There we go. See? Scene 4 featuring Sovi. Sovi kind of actually very similarly angelic voices to the track with Candace Hoyas, but kind of drier in a sense. And you guys will understand what I mean when I play it. I'm just going to do that.
Yeah.
Nobody told me. Nobody told me. So long they've been hating, waiting, debating how to keep you enslaved. So long they've been hating, waiting, debating how to keep you enslaved. Better lose your mind. Run away, better lose your mind. Hurt off, dust off, hate off, chains off, devil off. Better run and lose your mind.
So Mel, how did you feel about this one at this point?
I started freaking out again because the intro started getting footsteppy again, and it had me feeling like I needed to start running again. That choir backing almost sounded like a choir backing. I know it wasn't a full choir, but it was giving that weird, like, eerie but angelic vibe too. So it felt like it was very uncomfortable. There was that piercing noise where she was fading away that also just like wrecked my brain again. Man, yeah, and just like the lyrics, no one told me how love was supposed to be, how peace was supposed to be. Just like it was like, I don't know, like gut wrenching.
Yeah,
wild.
for sure.
Yeah, the repetitive nature of the lyrics. Nobody told me. Nobody told me. Nobody told me. Just over and over and over again. Just unsettling. Everything about this is unsettling.
So heavy,
By purpose.
So deep and powerful. It's. I had written down, like, it's coming from a place beyond anger and hurt. Like, this is beyond just general how you can describe certain emotions. Yeah. Like, to describe an emotion a certain way wouldn't do it credit for how she's actually portraying it. And I think that's just, it's a huge talent. It's a huge credit to Moor Mother as to how she's able to accomplish that. It's impressive, to say the least. But then we go into... You thought it was scene 5? You thought it was scene 5? No, it's camera. Dummies. Let's play some camera.
Away.
Anybody else sweaty or?
I mentioned the term spasms, guitar spasms earlier. There's a lot of spasming here. There's a lot of. Mel, I imagine at this point in your journey, you were probably on the floor shaking or something like.
So at this point in my journey, I feel like we've been trying to run away from somebody, and we were caught here. Like, we were trapped now, and I was going through it. Like, that narrator guy scared the shit out of me right off the bat, and I thought they crushed that whole staticky vibe that we had going on. Like, I literally felt like I was being held prisoner, and, like, you know how, again, Jigsaw, I'm bringing him back, is, like, stuck on one of those screens. I felt like I was being forced to watch this guy who just trapped me, like, narrate to me, and I'm just begging to get away. Like, I was like, I need to go. I need to go. I'm out. Like,
the robotic instructional voice at the beginning of the track is so nerve-wracking, and that he keeps talking the whole track. There's just so much other noise going on over top of it that it's tough to make out. Wild instrumentation to start. Like, you know, this is SUMAC's time to talk. I think more so than everybody else's, and like they're going to right now. The drums are coming from everywhere on this. It's chaotic beyond any repair. This is basically freeform jazz at this point in the heaviest way. Like it really like it falls into I would call this basically a freeform jazz song because of just how
that's actually
unbelievably everywhere this is coming from. It's I'm a jazz guy, so like I loved this track a lot. It is not approachable. It is very difficult to try to keep up with. It's just gross sludgy jazz that keeps going and it's like begging you to let your guard down for like even a couple seconds so that it can just like in like an anticipation that maybe it comes together, and then it just never does. It just keeps like it makes you wonder when they're gonna get tired of it. And so you're just like, they gotta, eventually they're gonna pull back a little bit, and they just never really do.
Yeah,
they don't let up.
I don't think I can't do it. I can't do it. I love jazz too, and I like freeform jazz a lot. And I just can't. This is too anxiety inducing.
It's crazy cool. Yeah. I love this a lot. Then it goes into that outro with that chaos. Like, so it does. I shouldn't say it doesn't actually reprieve. It does kind of pull back, like around like 4.5 minutes through, and then it's got like this kind of distorted guitar for like a little bit, but then it returns at the very end of the track, just again with these blasts of drum fills over this super scrapey guitar. Yep. And it's just super sonically rich, but like destructive all the way through. And you got these distorted screeches at the end. This track is nuts. It's crazy. It is insane.
Totally forgot. I didn't read all of my notes, but I forgot there's like a switch up to like a masculine voice, and they're like talking about how you don't know what it's like. And like, because I was feeling like a prisoner, I literally thought, I was like, are they trying to make us sympathize with the bad guy now? Like, what is going on? Yeah, I was like all over the place on this one. I was going through it. I had a crazy narrative on top of what was going on happening in my head.
Yeah. Which speaks to what music can make you feel, regardless of context, you know?
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And then we move over to... Not Scene 5. Yeah. Not Scene 5. We actually get a little interlude. It's called The Truth Is Out There. And this is something that I've seen in... Or I have listened to a couple of Moor Mother... like tracks and stuff like that, but this kind of gave me that futuristic style that when I was researching on Moor Mother, this gave me like this is my prediction for the future if things stay the way that they are kind of spot, because it gets kind of spacey. I didn't actually end up grabbing a clip of this because again, it is just a short little interlude, but it's sort of like I said, it's kind of that outlook as to how things are going to be if things stay the same. And it's just this really nice little melodic interlude and a reprieve from the norm on everything like that. It's just like the one last note to show off really quickly before we feel like the final message.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if you guys have something to say on The Truth Is Out There before we move on to not going to say
No, not really. I just wrote down cool intermission, I suppose. It's a jaunt little ditty. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like the prettiest, but I appreciated the reprieve.
It was a reprieve for
like,
sure.
It was.
Yeah.
I was really going through it, and I needed a break. So,
Yeah.
like, thank you, Moor Mother, for granting me that.
Yeah.
Then we get to the grand finale, final album on the track, Scene 5, Breathing Fire.
Which was my favorite Hunger Games. The sequel, I guess. Sorry.
Moor Mother's going to write a poem about you specifically saying that because of how ridiculous that sounded.
I
But
hope
anyways,
so. I hope so.
Breathing Fire.
Many lives of uncertainty. They won't be naming no buildings after me. They won't be naming no buildings after me to bomb and remodel condo reality. I pray the tides go. I pray the tides go. The way of the wolves. The way of the wolves. And out come the wolves. And out come the wolves. Take warning. Take warning.
Take warning.
This is a 16 and some change minute song.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed most of this song. Like, this is probably the highlight of the album for me musically. It was far more approachable, I think, than most of the other stuff. I like this a lot. I wrote down, I love this way this ends. If the whole album was like this, this would probably be a very high rated album for me, you know, musically.
I like that she brought up basic instructions before leaving Earth. Now, I don't know 100% if maybe it was... It spells out Bible, by the way, Mel, in case you were curious there. Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
That's a whole thing, because it was a GZA song back in the day. GZA from Wu-Tang, her being an East Coast poet, and obviously Wu-Tang being a pretty conscientious rap group with that kind of thing. I don't know if it necessarily took inspiration, because if you typed in basic instructions before leaving Earth, there is hundreds of religious sites now that use that as theirs, and I don't know which came first. If it was maybe something that was used religiously or something that was used by GZA first, I don't know who came up with that first, but either way, so I have a feeling it was a shout out to GZA's quote of it, but it could also just be attacking religion, because Moor Mother is take no prisoners. It could be anybody, and they are going to try to take a baseball bat to their kneecaps.
Yeah.
Pretty much any time. But you get these spurts of musicality behind Moor Mother on this track. It's 16 minutes, so like, yeah, you want to be prepared before you jump into this, because there's times when the musicality pulls away entirely. There's times when it comes out in full force. You got 16 minutes, like I said, buckle up. Like you're into one on this track a lot.
Yeah.
Around the 4-minute mark, you feel like the music's going to pop out over everything here, as Moor Mother like also kind of opens up, and then it does. Like, you feel like it's about to, and this is like the first time where I felt like I predicted what was going to happen on this album.
Which is
I was
crazy.
like, okay, like it's going to happen now, and then it does, and you're like, there we go. You finally get to like breathe out for like just a second. This is, again, just crazy post-rock. It feels explicitly climactic to close out the album. It's this wall of music, and usually I don't like these walls of music. It's usually something that takes me out of albums. I've talked about it in episodes before. I think here it makes sense. It creates this most dramatic moment for a reason and wants it to be like, now all the things that I've told you, take it all in all at the same time right now, or you're not going to understand where we're coming from on it. And I appreciated it in this context. Is it something I'm going to be able to come back to and listen? Probably not, because 16 minutes of that is a lot. It is a lot.
It's a journey.
But it flips inside like this kind of fighting for position from like Moor Mother's vocals and SUMAC's instrumentation, and they're fighting for your attention the whole way through. But then around 11 minutes, then you get this kind of light little like kind of shiny spots, which is...
It was actually really pretty.
It's really, really nice. I didn't expect it. It's a very post-rock ending, so I maybe should have been expecting it, but like, it's so deconstructed, and you get these light kind of finale messages from Moor Mother on it, and yeah, this track easily has the most notes that I've ever written for any of the songs we've covered ever.
Sure.
Because of 16 minutes of just like, there's so much to talk about and so much to deconstruct, and like, there's a lot going on, and it's hard not to. This album has the most notes written for sure for me, like by just words, because it's an hour of just nonstop. Just there's something to discuss, and I think that was something that Moor Mother and SUMAC did so well on an album that was meant to be as conscientious as it is.
Yeah.
But how did you feel about scene 5 there, Mel?
That spacing and the instrumentals added a whole different layer of anxiousness that I didn't have before. Like, I felt so badly that silence needed to be filled. So that was really, really powerful for me. I loved like the demanding, like, I want my change. Like, her cadence throughout is so cool. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, we're gearing the fuck up. But then we like took off running, and then that slowdown was another. It was another song that gave me whiplash. Like, I was like all over the place. But yeah, what a way to close it out.
Sure.
Wild.
Yeah, it evokes all the emotions for sure.
Yeah.
And we're over 16 minutes. You're gonna go back and forth, and yeah, there was a whole lot here. A lot that I liked. Again, I like the way this ended. I like scene 5, breathing fire. For all the different directions this album took me, I'm glad it ended here.
I agree. It did feel like a proper finale with everything too, and I appreciated that too.
Yeah.
16-minute finale, but it felt right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that. But so that's all of the tracks. How do we feel about how would you conclude this puppy?
How do you conclude this puppy? Man. I guess I'll go first. I listen, this whole album, there's so many adjectives I can put forth. There's off-putting, disconcerting, troubling, dreadful, hopelessness, like harrowing, like all these emotions evoked throughout this entire thing. I didn't like a lot of it, and I think that's intentional, in a lot of ways. As a metal guy, like, this is metal that disturbed me. This is metal that I was not really into outside of a few passages that we already mentioned. Could I recommend this to anyone? Absolutely not. I would never tell anyone to listen to this. But that being said, the message is important. The message is lyrically, I love what they're doing here. We just went over Backwash, a couple of episodes ago. This was the same kind of vibe from Moor Mother that we got with Backwash. If Backwash had heavier, atmospheric, troubling metal behind her, it's the same kind of activism that I'd love to see in music. I love that they're using this platform to get these messages across, and the album does what it's supposed to, in that regard. It really, it opens your eyes and really takes you on a journey. And in Mel's case, unfortunately, it was a far different journey than I think many people will go through. But it invoked the emotions, and that's going to be memorable for you. And that's hopefully what they were going for. But yeah, after everything's said and done, like, I can't rate this too highly because musically it was not pleasant. I gave this a 6 out of 10. That's probably even glazing it a bit. Like, I feel like I didn't like it even that much, but I do think it's important, like the messages that were being brought to us in this.
I'm a big horror fan, and I literally felt like I was in a horror movie. The adrenaline rushes I was getting throughout this entire thing was like something I would get out of a horror film. I've never had music. I've had music make me anxious before. Like, Ethel Cain made me very anxious, but not on this level. This was like, our real life is literally a horror movie if you're not paying close enough attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an experience. Yeah, you can't recommend it as something like, wow, I love this album so much, you should listen to it, but I do think everyone should listen to it because was wild. As a piece of art, absolute masterpiece.
Of course.
Like,
Yeah.
absolute masterpiece. I have so much respect for it. I would probably get the vinyl because it was just wild. How I couldn't live in this. I couldn't listen to it like as a one-off, but maybe if I wanted to get that adrenaline rush going again, I would.
I need Garrett to listen to this.
He got bits. So when I was making
did
the
he?
sound clips last night, he was done streaming and was hanging out with me, and he was just like, "This is what you guys had to listen to," and I was like, "I actually enjoy. Like, it's like actually enjoyable. I mean, I enjoy this more than Death Heaven."
Wow.
That's a statement.
Like a lot more than Death Heaven.
Holy shit.
Even the metal screaming, like when we didn't get it often, but that metal growl I like so much more than Death Heaven's vocals. So
Interesting.
Like so much more. I'm here for a growl. I rated it an 8-1. Like I appreciated it so much.
Yeah.
Like so much. And yeah, I know I'm not supposed to like it.
That's true,
but,
yeah.
But
that's
still,
what makes you like it. Knowing that
Exactly.
you're not supposed to and you do is...
It was one of those
That's
things.
fair.
I've never had an album so successfully make me feel so many things. And I'm sure the sativa had a lot to do with it. But it was a lot.
Yeah,
For sure.
Wild. Yeah.
100%. I thought this album was super cool. It's I think it's a really cool expression of how you can blend post rock and sludgy metal into something more conscious. I think that's one thing that was really important to me. You know, sludge metal. It is a conscious platform, 100%. It is a conscious genre, and a lot of sludge metal does have a political statement, but not quite as directly on the nose as they did it with Moor Mother delivering that message. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Usually you're just getting the growls, and if you can't make out what they say, that's on you. Go look up the lyrics. Like, that's, if you really care about the message, that's where you go and get the message, right? This one, they said, no, we're going to make this message explicitly clear by working with Moor Mother. And Moor Mother said, yeah, I want my message to be clear, and wants to deliver it that way. It is a lot to take in. It elicits emotion. It burns slowly but intentionally, and it feels guttural in its arrangement. So, like, you don't spend any time wondering why you're here or what you're doing here. You know what I mean? I think it creates the sense that you've just been here the whole time, and now you're just opening your eyes to it all. And I think that's something that's unique. That's a really unique experience that music can create, and their music does on this one specifically. Sludge metal isn't for everyone. Spoken word albums aren't for everyone. Regardless, I think what SUMAC and Moor Mother did was conscientious metal, and it was the point. It makes you hurt. While we talk about the reasons that we're hurting for it, for that I honestly I can't say enough how much credit I do give this album. It's a tremendous piece of art. I don't think I'm going to be jumping back into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And truthfully, I don't know whether anybody necessarily should. Because if you didn't get the message the first time, I don't think you're ever going to get it. I don't know if they could have been more clear with exactly what it is and what it's going to do. That if you're like, oh, maybe I missed something. How?
Yeah.
They're shoving it down your throat the entire
Correct.
time.
There's zero chance
Almost
you missed
literally.
any
Yeah.
of the intention unless you just don't want to listen to it. And that also is kind of fair, but I think that you
fucks.
should. Yeah, right? You know what I mean? Again, the biggest thing, me not being able to ever really jump back into this album is going to be, it hurts it for me. I give this a 6-8.
Yeah.
I give this a 6-8. But
That makes sense.
That's where I was at too. Not being able to
I'm
listen
a
to it again.
sucker for horror, and like in the same way I would rewatch Hereditary, which scared the shit out of me. Like if I'm in for if I want an adrenaline rush, I might go back.
Yeah.
yeah,
like-
I get it.
Wild.
For sure. But yeah, that wraps up our album reviews for episode 8 of On Beat Off Script. Any kind of closing statements for you guys? Anything in particular? What's cool? What was your big takeaways from the afternoon?
I like country more than I thought. I like metal less than I thought, I guess, are my two big takeaways today. Yeah.
I like guttural growling metal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For a whole new side of Mel, another crazy side of Mel we're bringing out. I love that.
I love it.
We don't have enough of those.
Shoegaze is really cool.
Yeah, shoegaze is good too. Yeah.
I've been telling you this for years. Anyways, well, no, I appreciate you guys being here and helping out with this. And listeners out there, please let us know. What did you think? Do you think we're right? Do you think we're wrong? Do you think we're handsome or
Pretty?
pretty? Yeah, sure, that works
handsome.
too.
Do you like my new tat?
Whatever it is, throw it in the comments. We appreciate your guys' feedback. Moving forward, we're going to be back to the recording studio in on May 10th. If I'm not mistaken, May 10th we'll be back here. We've got a couple of really awesome albums that I'm pumped about moving forward here. We've got a little bit of Billy Woods. We haven't covered a hip-hop album that actually feels like a hip-hop album in quite some time because we had Drake and The Weeknd, which are basically R&B stars in my opinion. Yeah, it's I don't know if I would call them hip-hop. So we have Billy Woods coming out with Gollywog on the 9th of May. So we're going to be checking that out. Experimental hip-hop. Big fan of Maps. Billy Woods Maps that came out, I want to say 2023 if I'm not mistaken. So make sure that you guys, I would strongly encourage you give that a spin and then pop into this one. I think it's just a really, really neat, awesome experimental hip-hop album that will kind of set the basis for you moving into the recording on the 10th. But the other ones that we're going to cover is Blonde Shell with her sophomore album, If You Asked for a Picture. Alternative Rocker, who dropped an album in 2023 as well, the self-titled album that I was a big fan. I got it on vinyl. I think it's a really cool album. A little girly rock, since we took the girly rockers and we covered them in country, I guess, this episode, because that's what everybody else is doing. Blonde Shell's like, no, I'm still gonna rock for you guys, and I appreciate that, Blonde Shell. And then finally, our big spotlight, our main spotlight is gonna be Kali Uchis coming out with an R&B album, Sincerely, which I am thrilled about. Kali Uchis is super cool. I think it's gonna be funky. I think it's gonna have a lot of swing to it. We're gonna maybe remove ourselves a little bit from the metal sphere for an episode, which would be kind of neat, I think, so we don't have to just constantly be like, oh wow, that hurt at the end of every single one of our episodes, because we keep seeming to find a metal album where we're like every single time.
We've had a lot of heavy content.
That's some big stuff. It's really cool. I love the fact that we're diving into like some stuff that would otherwise be completely obscure to most people. I think it's important to still cover that kind of stuff, but we're gonna lighten it up a little bit. Little hip hop, little rock, little R&B. Should be a little bit more easy listening, palatable. I think next episode, which I'm looking forward to. But again, make sure you're checking us out on all platforms. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. We're on Amazon Music. We've got shorts coming out on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. So just make sure you're following and bump us there. And again, like I said, we appreciate your guys' commentary. Tell us where we're wrong. I'm so good at being wrong that I'm getting used to people letting me know. So please don't hesitate to reach out and tell us.
Interacting with the YouTube comments.
You've been having a lot of time with
conversations with people. I love it.
Yeah.
Keep them
100%.
coming, man. I'm usually the one responding, but I make sure they read them all too because it's funny.
Yeah, we see all your comments, guys. So please keep them coming. I also love when you make Brandito feel like he's wrong. So let's keep that up.
100%. Yeah, I very rarely am, but like it's fine. It's cool.
And if you don't like my laugh,
fuck off.
Tell your mama she could suck an egg.
But thank you, listeners, for being here. We appreciate you, and we will catch you in a couple weeks at On Beat Off Script. I'm Brandito. That's Mel. That's Bob. We'll catch you all soon.
Bye, guys.
3, 2,